You've applied for a loan, you've been contacted by an appraiser to come and look at your property. This video is to help you prepare for that appraisal inspection and help you to understand what the process is for the on-site property inspection. So what is an appraisal anyway? An appraisal on a residential home is the process of developing an opinion of value for the property. The process of collecting the information necessary to develop a credible opinion of value. Part of that process is collecting information about your home. Usually the first step that an appraiser will undertake in starting the appraisal process is to collect relevant information about the property that's being appraised. Usually it will involve the collection of public record information to determine legal description, identify the location, begin the process of defining the neighborhood and the market characteristics within that neighborhood, and to determine the nature and quality and characteristics of the property that's being appraised. The primary purpose of the home inspection by the appraiser is to collect the information necessary to establish the physical characteristics of the property. So what is the appraiser looking for when he comes to look at your home? The appraiser comes to look at your home. The purpose of the inspection is to determine the physical characteristics of the property, including the age, effective age, quality, condition, and the utility of the property, meaning the floor plan and the overall appeal of the property in the general market. Note that the appraisal inspection is not a home inspection. While the appraiser will be making determinations about the quality and condition of the property, they are generally making an assumption that the mechanical systems, electrical systems, and plumbing systems are in working order unless it's readily apparent that there are deficiencies in those systems. So what will the appraiser do when they come to make the inspection of your home? Usually it will involve confirming the characteristics of your property. If public record information is available, the appraiser may measure the physical exterior of the house or at least portions of the home to confirm that the sketch that is found on the public records are accurate. The appraiser will remeasure the house to ensure that they have the most accurate physical size information on the property. Picture taking is a major part of the process. Most lenders want a more comprehensive set of photographs than have been required in the past. So generally speaking, the appraiser will at the very least require a photograph of the front of the house, a rear view of the house, and a street scene looking up or down the street. For FHA, the appraiser will also be required to have views that show the sides of the home. The appraiser will be required to take a photograph in every room in the house. So be prepared that if there are rooms in the home that you're uncomfortable with, you may want to hide things under the bed or at least straighten it up so when the photos are taken that the home shows as well as possible. For an FHA appraisal, the appraiser will be required to verify that the utilities are on and operational, and they will usually take a picture of the toilet flushing and the water running. They will be required to do at a minimum a head and shoulders inspection of the attic, and often will take a photograph. They will be required to inspect the crawl space and will take a photograph. They will take photographs of any physical deficiencies associated with the property. For FHA appraisals, the appraiser is going to be required to verify that the appliances are operational. If the appraisal is for an FHA loan, the inspection is intended to verify that the property meets HUD's minimum property standards. If the property is deficient in some of those standards, usually dealing with health and safety issues, then those items will be identified in the appraisal, and there may be a second inspection to verify that the deficiencies have been corrected. As a property owner, how can you prepare for the appraiser to come to your home? The first thing is to make sure that the appraiser has access to all of the areas within the house and that access is available to attics and crawl spaces if the loan involves a VA, FHA, or a rural housing loan. Having accurate information about your property is essential in obtaining a credible appraisal. Some of the information that the appraiser will be looking for is information about any remodeling, updating, additions, or other improvements that have been made to the home. Having that information available to the appraiser along with the associated costs can ensure that the appraiser can take all recent renovations and improvements into consideration in developing the opinion of value. The appraiser will also need information about the site and the subdivision. If your home is in a subdivision that has a homeowners association with dues, they will need to obtain that information. If you're in a rural area or in an area where public sewer and water is not available, they will need to have the information about who provides the culinary water and the sewage disposal, in addition to who maintains the roadway access if the roadway is private. If you have a property that has private roadway access, most lenders are going to require some kind of maintenance agreement between you and the other people who share that road. If you have made additions to your property, you will want to make sure that those improvements, remodeling, and additions have been legally permitted by the governing authority. It's likely that if those items have not been permitted legally, that it will end up being a potential issue for the appraisal and for your loan. Please see a web address that you can log on to get a property information sheet that will allow you to collect that information and give it to your appraiser to make sure that they have all of the information necessary in appraising your home. If minimum property requirements apply, be aware of what they are, and if possible, have any deficiencies corrected before the appraiser comes to your home. We will have the HUD condition sheet available for you to download that will give you a pretty good idea of what the physical features that the appraiser will be looking for. Some of those things include improper drainage away from the improvements, flaking paint, particularly on homes that were built before 1978, and the possibility of lead-based paint being present on the home. Health and safety hazards, broken windows, missing hand railings, unsafe wiring or plumbing, anything that would constitute a health and safety risk for a prospective property owner would need to be corrected. You'll need to make sure that the utilities are on and operational, including that the natural gas or heat source for your water is on and operational, as the appraiser will be required to verify that the hot water is working. Many states are requiring that the hot water heaters be double strapped, and many states require the presence of a CO2 detector and a smoke alarm. Keep in mind that the appraisal inspection is the first step in the valuation process in gathering the factual information about the property that's being appraised. The valuation process usually begins after the inspection has taken place and the appraiser is now familiar with the physical characteristics of the property. Most lenders and AMCs prohibit the appraiser from discussing valuation-related issues about your home. It would be inappropriate to ask the appraiser what they think the house is worth at the initial property inspection. With the introduction of legislation known as the Dodd-Frank Act, the appraisers are required to have appraiser independence and not to be influenced by a party that has an interest in the transaction. As a property owner, if you try to influence the appraiser to hit a targeted price or try to manipulate the outcome of the appraisal, the appraiser will be required to report that to the lender and it may result in problems for you in obtaining the loan and very likely result in another appraiser assigned to do the appraisal. The best thing that you can do in getting a good quality appraisal on your home is to make sure that the appraiser has accurate factual information about your home. We hope that as you take the opportunity to look at the minimum property requirements for your HUD and FHA VA loans, as well as using the property information worksheet, that this will assist you in making sure that you get the best appraisal possible on your home. For additional information on this topic and others, go to the website addressed below for additional information and downloadable information you can use in understanding the appraisal. All the best.